Before time learned to move, before the universe learned to breathe, a single being opened his eyes in the endless void, Ymir. There was no sky above him, no ground beneath him, no light to reveal form, no darkness to conceal it. There was only the immeasurable abyss known as Ginnungagap, a silence so vast it did not merely surround existence, it was existence. To one side of this boundless emptiness lay Niflheim, a realm of frozen breath, where ancient rivers of ice flowed without motion, and frost gathered there, not as weather, but as law. And cold was not a condition, it was identity. Opposite, it burned in Muspelheim, a realm of living flame where heat moved with intention and sparks drifted like wandering stars yet to be born. Fire did not consume, it existed simply to be. Between these two eternal opposites stretched the silent gulf, and when the heat met frost, the universe trembled for the first time, and ice began to soften, and frozen rivers began to weep, and drops fell into nothingness and became something. Motion was born not from will, but from contact, and from that slow melting emerged a sharp, immense, and undefined inevitable, not created by design, not summoned by purpose, formed by the meeting of forces that could not remain separate forever. Ymir awakened without memory because there had been no before. He breathed without air because breath had not yet been defined. He existed because existence had nowhere else to go. He was vast, beyond comprehension, yet he stood alone. No stars marked his presence, no horizon framed his form, only endless stillness stretching beyond perception. And in that stillness, the first life stirred. Ymir did not seek creation, and yet creation flowed from him. As he rested within the silence, movement formed along his body. From warmth and frost mingling upon his skin, other beings emerged, not born in the way life would later understand birth, but formed through overflow. Life in its first expression was not careful. It was abundant, unrestrained, and unmeasured. From beneath his arms, new giants appeared. From his feet, others took form. Existence multiplied because existence had begun. And yet the first being required sustains, and from the melting ice emerged another presence, Audhumla. She moved with calm inevitability, her vast form radiating nourishment, and from her flowed rivers of milk, and Ymir drank, sustained by a source that asked for nothing in return. But Audhumla nourished more than life. She revealed hidden potential within the frozen abyss. As she licked the salt-covered ice, surrounding her layers of frost dissolved, and beneath them, a form long concealed began to emerge, not born from chaos like Ymir, but uncovered from within the substance of the void itself. And from the ice stepped Buri. Where Ymir embodied raw existence, Buri represented emergence. He stood not as chaos, but as direction, not as abundance, but as a beginning of order. From Buri came Bor, and from Bor would come 3 sons, beings who would look upon the boundless presence of Ymir and see not completion, but imbalance. And one of them was Odin. Yes, the legendary Odin. And he did not awaken into a world prepared for him. He awakened into vastness without structure. Life existed, yet nothing endured. Presence filled everything, yet nothing had form. Chaos was not destructive. It was overwhelming. There was no space for growth because everything already was. The first giants lived within the immeasurable body of existence, but there was no horizon, no boundary, no distinction between one thing and another. Without separation, there could be no world. And without change, there could be no future. And so, a realization emerged among the sons of Bor. Creation required transformation. Not annihilation, not vengeance, but transformation. Ymir did not resist, because resistance required division, and division had not yet fully been born. The first conflict of existence unfolded not as war, but as inevitability. When the first giant fell, the silence changed. From his flesh came land, not placed, but shaped. From his blood came waters, not poured, but released. And from his bones rose mountains that would one day define horizons. And from his skull formed the sky, an arch to hold space where none had been. His breath became wind, and his mind became cloud. His presence became the foundation of everything that would follow. Nothing was discarded, nothing abandoned. Existence did not erase its beginning, it transformed it. The world was not created from nothing, it was created from what had always been. And so, the cosmos emerged not as a perfect design, but as a reshaped memory of chaos. The oceans carried the echo of primordial flow. Mountains held the weight of ancient structure. The sky curved from the boundary of a once limitless form. Creation did not deny chaos, it organized it. This is why the first giant is never really truly gone, because he remains present wherever form exists. He is the hidden origin beneath structure, the silent reminder that order is shaped from what once had no shape. Myth remembers this not as a tale of victory, but as a reflection of existence itself. That every beginning requires transformation. Every world arises from something that came before it. The story of Ymir speaks not only of ancient time, but of universal truth. Before identity, there is potential. Before meaning, there is presence. And before structure, there is possibility without boundary. The cosmos did not begin with intention. It began with encounter. Fire met ice, and stillness met motion, and absence met inevitability. And from that meeting came a being who was neither creator nor creation, but the threshold between them. In every age, humanity has searched for the first cause, a moment where existence decided to be. Yet, this myth suggests something deeper. Existence does not decide, it emerges. Ymir represents the moment when being itself became unavoidable. He is the embodiment of the universe before it understood itself. And even after order reshaped the world, echoes of that first state remained. Chaos was never destroyed. It was transformed into foundation. The sea still moves with ancient memory, and the earth still carries weight of primordial form. The sky still arches without boundary, once without a limit. We live within structure, yet structure rests upon what once had none. And so, the story endures not because it explains the universe, but because it reflects its nature. Everything that exists was once unformed, and everything that stands was once without boundary, and without order was once infinite possibility. Ymir is not merely the first giant. He is the memory of existence before definition. When we search for origins, we are searching for that moment when something first emerged from nothing. When silence first gave way to presence, but the myth whispers a quieter truth. There was never nothing. There was only waiting potential. And when opposing forces finally touched, existence awakened, vast, inevitable, and alone. Before the gods spoke, before the stars burned, before the world learned to turn, there was only Ymir. Well, there was Ymir. And from that solitary presence, everything began. Like, for example, don't you think it's kind of impressive how Ymir was formed just by the meeting of fire and ice? It was only a drop of petulant, and yet he still existed. That's kind of crazy, right? That's why Norse mythology is actually surprising in many ways. Its creations are creative, and that's why you should go ahead and check out my page and let's find out more about Greek Norse mythology. Anyways guys, if this story stirred something in you, there are many more myths waiting, and tell me in the comments section down below which Norse mythology you want next. And until the next tale, stay curious!